you interviewed Lord Sugar, Sir Alan Sugar.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
In Hull when he wasn't that?
No, it wasn't in Hull. It was at his headquarters in London.
And that was because he open the first out of city retail park? Wasn't it Comet? Was it?
Yeah. Well, Comet was Alan Sugar's biggest customer, and I just happened to work for the advertising agency that did Comet's work, and I was dispatched down to London as part of the team to interview him for the Comet conference. So we had to go down into his Amstrad house, I think it is, to his top floor and interview him. He was a fantastic person to interview. He just did it absolutely off pat. We gave him a script and he said, "Do I have to follow that?" And I said, "No, you just use your own words if you want." He looked at the script, used his own words, but said exactly the same thing, and just did it in one take, and he was off. And we did, I chatted with him for maybe 5 minutes before, but it was a joy to work with. Very, very clever guy. And yes, absolutely. And of course, Mike Hollingbury, who owned Comet at the time, pretty much saved Amstrad because, Alan Sugar asked him, "Will you buy this stuff?" No, because no one else would. And he did. And that's how really he got going.
Incredible. And what's the one thing that the big thing that you took from interviewing Alan Sugar?
It's such a long time ago, but I guess probably I still remember it in my mind's eye, his level of professionalism and focus. So he's very, 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 very clear about what he was trying to do always. There was no ifs or buts. His vision was very, very clear.
Oh, interesting.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, let's get straight into it now. So going for high growth after lockdown. I know that you're working with clients on this subject daily. It's so and going for high growth after lockdown, how has that looked working with your clients, and how close are clients feeling now, and yourself, when can we capitalise on this?
Well, now is the answer to that, James. It's you just got to. I mean, I've been noticeably over the last 2-3 weeks as lockdown is starting to be released. Obviously, Cummings thought it was released some months ago, but we won't touch on that. So as lockdown's been released, I think people are starting to get a little bit more energy back. They're starting to think, well, come on, things are happening. And, and entrepreneurs are brilliant people to work with because they just want to get on and do stuff. They're generally not the bears, they're more like the meerkats at worst, and generally most of them are deers. You just want to, let's get on with it. Let's find something to do. But what I've done is actually given them a little bit of a toolbox to work through. And it's really paying dividends already, because I've noticed I've got calls with all my clients today, and I'm hoping to hear some really good things because I'm getting some good noises from them, in all honesty. The level of inquiries, the new business coming in, clients that were stopped and now starting to go again. So, I'm very, very optimistic, enthusiastic about what's going to happen in the next few months. So that's the really good news. But the toolkit I've given them is quite simple, really. We have touched on it before. And I know certainly, Phil, you wrote about it. There's only two ways of getting business. There's actually farming it or hunting for it. And as you all know by now, I am a very keen farmer and not such a keen hunter, because the variables are much greater. I mean, the old adage goes that to get a new customer rather than keep an old one costs 10 times as much and takes 10 times as long. And of course, depending on the business that you're in, just by ringing up some people today doesn't mean you're going to get the business tomorrow. That business might happen in a month's time, 6 months' time, a year's time. Sometimes it takes a long time to land that big fish. But farming, you can do it immediately. You can go into your customer base, and if you do your homework properly and have the right conversations, there's always 20 to 50% more revenue in your clients. And the reason that you haven't got it is you just haven't asked for it. That's generally the reason. You just haven't found it. You say, look, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Did you know we can also do this for you? You've got to go to them with the ideas. Pitch your ideas to them rather than wait for them to speak to you. What do they need? They need loads of things, but sometimes they've just not identified it yet. And what services do you offer that they don't use? Sometimes you do this sort of like usage matrix where you put your clients down the left-hand side and all your services across the top, all products, and tick which ones those clients take. And that's like your traditional gap analysis, but that'll show you straight away where you're missing out. And sometimes this is an under thing. You think you've just got to do it yourself. Don't. You've got a team. Your team is brimming with ideas. They'll come up with ideas you've never considered. Go through each one of your clients with them and brainstorm it and get them to come up with ideas about how you can improve your clients or sell more products to them, because you're doing them a favor and there's revenue there. You just need to go and ask for it.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Business Lockdown.
Please comment, like, share and subscribe to help build our global community.
We look forward to seeing you all soon.